The Sales Perch, a weekly podcast discussing sales styles, techniques, and strategies. Today's episode is called the Adjournment Close. You have to know when it's right to close right away and when it's not. Thank you guys so much for checking out this week's episode of the Sales Perch. We're going to talk about the adjournment close today. Not even exactly a close, but super important to know your audience and who you're talking to and how not to blow the deal. But before we do that, just as always, I want to go through and talk about last week's episode. Last week's episode was the Ben Franklin close. If you didn't listen, Ben Franklin loved pros and cons lists, hence the name of the close. What it is listing out all the pros on something, listing out all the cons on something. You're really just trying to get the objections that customer, client, prospect, whatever it is, has, so you can handle those and get them to say yes, right? How did you use it last week or over the last week? I'm going to tell you how I used it. This one's a little bit different. I used it on myself, right? So I'm looking at buying an investment property. And it's not necessarily the best time to do it from things I have going on and where things are at, but it's an opportunity buy. I really would like to get it. It would really make sense to add to my portfolio. But I'm going through and I'm actually talking to somebody that owns a bunch of investment properties going, tell me you would do this deal. I need a little positive reinsurance here. Tell me you would do this deal. And wound up just listing all the pros and all the cons and went, I got to do this deal. It's stupid not to. I'm in my own head telling myself not to do it. That's my objection. But I got the pros and cons listed out and realized it's pretty stupid not to buy this unit and take control of this. So that's what I'm doing. Curious how it worked on yourself, how it worked in your line of work, in your personal life. Please drop me a line on my social media pages, Joseph_S_Bird_realtor on Instagram. Drop me a message, however you want to get a hold of me. So let's get today to talk about when it's right to close and when it's not right to close. It's called the adjournment close. What does that mean? And we're going to do a whole deep dive on personality types later on in this podcast, because I fully believe understanding your audience and understanding what their inherent objections are going to be, what their tendencies or trends will be, and how they respond to things is incredibly imperative to making the close. So we're going to touch on that a little bit today. We're going to spend a lot of time on that down the road here. But from today's perspective, let's say you're coming across somebody, let's say all decision makers aren't present. Let's say they need to talk to somebody else about what's going on. They need approval from something, or they just need to have a conversation. Or you just realize maybe they're analytical personality types, engineer types. They're generally not going to make decisions on the day of. They're going to have to analyze all the data. And you push these people too far, you will blow the sale. You will lose trust with them. If you push somebody that does not want to be pushed, and you don't take the clues and you don't stop when they tell you to stop, whether it's words or actions, you will lose their trust. They will never work with you. You have to know when to use this and when it's the right effective close, even though it's the opposite of a close. But what you're doing is you're building trust. You're getting on their level. You're understanding what their process is, and you're being compassionate to what they have going on, right? That's where this works. It's a pretty basic concept. Should be a pretty quick episode here. The adjournment close. You adjourn the decision. You say, I thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with me. We've gone over this. Are there any other questions that you might have for your decision-making process? No? Okay, great. Not a problem. Feel free, if anything comes up, give me a call. If I owe you this spreadsheet, or I owe you this, or do whatever information part you need to give to them still. You commit to doing it. You do what you say you're going to do. You say, I understand this is a very important decision for you, and you need to go through your own process. I respect that. I respect you. May I follow up with you in 2 or 3 days to see if you have any additional questions? You get permission to do that, you do that. If you don't get permission, now I'll call you. You don't call. You might wait 4 or 5 days then, or you do something to communicate with them. But if they do say, do not call me, do not call them. You will blow trust. At this point, your confidence is your sales pitch. Your confidence is, I know that you're going to call me back and hire me because what I provided you is the best solution to your problem. And I'm confident that you see that and you're going to call me back. And I'm going to empower you to make that decision. That's what the adjournment close is. It's what gives them the power to buy back into you. You push them too hard, I'm telling you, it's over. You're not going to get it. You're going to lose them. It's just the nature of that personality type. I grew up with a very analytical father. He's an engineer. You can't push him to decide something on the day of. You're not going to happen. You're going to lose that person. You're going to lose them forever. Just is what it is. And if your solution is so good and you believe in it so much, it will sell itself when you leave. The details will push that person to make the right logical decision based on what you're providing. I hope that's been effective, and I hope that helps you. And again, it really just comes down to your confidence level in you as a person, as you as a salesperson, and the product that you're selling. Try it out when the circumstance is right. Don't use it as a cop-out to get out of, closing it's uncomfortable, it's hard. Don't use this as a cop-out to not close. Know when to play it, and you play it right, you will win more often than not. Thanks so much for listening. This is Joe Bird with the Sales Perch. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for listening to The Sales Perch by Joe Bird. Having sold over 1,000 houses personally in the last 12 years, in addition to running one of the top real estate teams in the state of Maryland, I am looking forward to imparting my knowledge and wisdom, as well as sitting in the trenches with you to learn alongside you.